Welcome back to the last social media management for beginners episode, at least for right now. If you've been enjoying this series, please do let me know by commenting down below what some topics are that you'd like me to talk about, and I will continue adding to this playlist as I can. Also, if you didn't know, I normally post a video podcast on Fridays. We're doing an audio exclusive today, and it's actually gonna tie in really nicely with the topic of today's video, which is how to get clients. I interviewed Morgan Overholt, who's made over $500,000 on the Upwork platform, and she shares a ton of gems about getting clients and, most importantly, keeping them. So I'll leave a link for that episode down in the description box if you'd like to check it out. All right, today we are talking about how to get clients, particularly when you don't have experience. This is one of the hardest places to be, at least when you're first starting. How do you get experience when you don't have experience, and the experience that you want to get requires experience? Okay, so my first tip is you do need to get some kind of experience. The first place a lot of people's minds go is to doing work for free, and you can do some portfolio projects. That's what I call it. Contracts that maybe last for a short period of time, or maybe it's just kind of a condensed version of what your full service offer will eventually be. You can ask around, you can ask friends and family, maybe they have a business that you can create some social content for, you can draft up a content calendar, you can run an ad campaign and use that as portfolio work, but you can also charge for portfolio work. I wanna make that clear. You don't need to just work for free. I very much consider my first social media copywriting job a portfolio project. I was getting paid, not a ton, but I was getting paid for my time. So they are out there. You can browse job boards, you can ask around, like I said, to friends and family. Another thing that I like to do as portfolio work is charity. If you have a cause that you believe in, volunteer. Volunteer your time to help out the local animal shelter and manage their Facebook Lives or something like that, because it feels a little bit less exploitative when it's going for a good cause. At least that's how I always felt. Now, you can also build your own portfolio content. For example, I manage an entire editorial strategy for a podcast and a YouTube channel, and that totally is portfolio work for myself. So you could do something similar. Maybe you have a blog, or my original portfolio project for myself way back in the day when I was in college is I created an Instagram account for my hometown, and I just took shots of, cool architecture in my city and cool things that were going on in town and posted about it. And I built that Instagram account up to maybe 500 or something like that. It wasn't huge, but it was enough to show that I know how to manage an Instagram account from scratch. I know how to take photos, I know how to engage with people, and I know how to build up a small following. Step 2 is you want to actually track the data from that portfolio work. So you don't just want to create a podcast and then let it go out into the ether. Make sure that you're taking snapshots of cool content that you come up with, that you're measuring your analytics, and that you're actually seeing how many people are coming over to your podcast site from social media or whatever the case may be, whatever the portfolio content is. You should also treat it just like a client, just like a normal client, and pull KPIs every single month, or key performance indicators. Put together a spreadsheet so that you can monitor the growth over time. It's really exciting to be able to say, hey, I grew an account from 0 to 500 in a month versus 0 to 500 in 6 months, or I spent 6 months on an account and I don't even know where we started at, so I can't really report on our growth. That really doesn't tell an interesting story. So you want to make sure to tell stories with whatever it is that you're doing. I like to create a little simple one-sheeter that has a sample of the different content types that I've created and what my abilities are. I can bring that with me when I'm meeting with prospective clients. I can send that through in emails and Upwork pitches and so on. Now, before you get out to applying for jobs and pitching yourself to people, you want to really understand your motivations and what your value proposition is. A unique value proposition is something that you uniquely bring to the table. It's sort of your standout offer. For example, if I was a social media manager who exclusively worked with law firms, maybe I would say, I help lawyers turn their social media from boring into high converting lead machines, or something like that. If you worked with animal rescue organizations, you can say, I am a social media manager who specializes in taking high quality photos of cute pooches and finding them homes that they deserve, or something of that nature. It's really important that you are speaking to your ideal client and also your specific skills. If you remember back to episode 1, we talked about how some social media managers may be really comfortable and may really enjoy taking photos, creating videos, and things like that. So it's important to call that out. If you're a trained videographer, if you went to school for video and that's something you're doing now in your business, definitely put that into your unique value proposition. Make that known. If you are a trained photographer, make that known as well. And maybe you don't like those things and you're just really good with words and you're a really great copywriter, then make sure that that is in your unique value proposition as well. It's important to understand that there really are different social media managers for different projects. You're probably not going to be the right fit for every single open position out there. But if you're honest about what your unique value proposition is and what you uniquely bring to the table, you're more likely to find projects that are completely in line with what you want to do and what you're good at, and you're not being thrown into situations that you don't really know how to handle. Your unique value proposition is something that you can put on your website, on a business card, you can put it on your Upwork profile, you can put it on your Instagram account, pretty much anywhere where clients are going to be interacting with you. It's important to just keep that top of mind and make it be known. Next, I know you probably think it's time to start cold pitching, right? But I want you to do one thing first, and that's choose an inbound pillar platform. What does that mean? It means choose a platform that you can dedicate to creating content and investing in the content marketing strategy that might not have payoff today or tomorrow or even next week or next month. But it's something that you can really work at dominating the SEO and building a solid presence on so that eventually you start attracting your ideal clients as opposed to having to go out and hunt for them. So I'll give you the example of myself. I personally have the pillar platform of YouTube. It's where I put the majority of my time, my energy, my effort, and my resources. And I posted on YouTube for a long time without getting paid at all. And I also posted on YouTube for a long time without generating any leads for my business. But now it's responsible for a whole lot of my leads. I would say over half on any given month. So make a smart commitment to your content marketing platform. Realistically, if you're just starting out becoming a freelance social media manager, you're not going to want to post every single day on Instagram Reels or YouTube or LinkedIn because you're going to need to go out and take part in some of those outbound strategies as well, which we're going to talk about next. But you can make a goal of, hey, I'm going to post once a week on my podcast or twice a week on Instagram Reels, or I'm gonna do one webinar a week, or maybe one a month. Something like that you can just continuously invest in and do on a schedule. And over time, it will lead to more engaged people, people who are more loyal to you, and people who have really built up a relationship with you through your content and are ready to buy as soon as you put the right offer in front of them. Now, if you're investing in a content marketing strategy, which I think you should be, you should also have a website that's optimized for leads. If I put my website in my YouTube description box, it better be optimized for people to be able to fill out a form and get in touch with me. Or I should, at the very least, have my email address listed somewhere on my YouTube profile or whatever your main platform is gonna be. Something I really like to use for this is HoneyBook. HoneyBook is a tool that I use to allow people to book discovery calls with me and fill out lead forms to let me know what stage they are in their business and what they really need help with. You can do everything from create scheduling links that allow people to instantly book discovery calls with you, to creating brochures that give a little sampling of what types of services you offer. And it also acts as a customer hub. So once people fill out those lead forms and book those calls, you'll have their information readily available for you, and you can set up automations and workflows and all kinds of cool things all in one place. So I'm a huge HoneyBook fan. I'll leave a 50% off link for you down in the description box if you want to get started. It's a very affordable tool and it's one of the best investments I've made in my business ever. Huge fan. Okay, and again, before you go out and start aggressively hunting for leads, there might be a lot more right under your nose that you hadn't even thought about yet. Just talk to your network. Talk to people who you talk to every day, whether that's your mom, your aunt, your cousin, your best friend, the person who cuts your hair, the person who makes your coffee. Those are all great people to say, hey, I'm starting a new business. Can I leave a couple cards with you? Or do you know anyone who may be new in business and wants to work with a social media manager? I know it sounds really simple, but you never know who people know. And also keep in touch with your old colleagues. If you're still at a day job, you might not be comfortable telling them that you're starting a business, but if you're leaving your day job or you're not currently working right now, if you have any professional connections that you really enjoyed working with and that really could vouch for your professionalism, be sure to add them on LinkedIn and just kind of give them a heads up about what you're doing now. You don't want to come off as too aggressive or too houndy, but just simply say, hey, how are you? I hope everything's going well. I haven't seen you in a while. I started a business a couple weeks ago. I'm really excited about it. Hope we can catch up soon. I mean, just something simple like that. Okay, lastly, let's talk about the cold outbound stuff. I got my first gig on Upwork personally. I think these job boards are really great places to get your first gig at the very least. They can also be good long-term lead sources depending on how you use them, but that's another video for another day. Right now, we're just talking about getting started, and people have a lot of criticisms about job boards because they do take a small percentage of what you get paid and use it for their platform fees. But the reason why I think they're a great place to start is because they're full of people who actively are looking for people to work for them. It's a lot easier to convince somebody who already knows they need a social media manager that you're the right social media manager for them than it is to convince somebody who doesn't even know what a social media manager is or doesn't think they need one or doesn't think they can afford one that they actually need one and that you're the right person for them. There's a lot of hoops to jump through, and if you're not super comfortable with sales, that can be a tall order when you're first starting out. You'll definitely get there, you'll get more comfortable with talking about it, and also targeting the right customers who do know what a social media manager is and do have the budget for one, etc. But anyway, in the beginning, that can be kind of a lot. So I like the platform Upwork. There are certainly other freelance platforms out there too, though. There's Fiverr, there's Freelancer, there's Guru, there's even LinkedIn, which has some freelance capabilities on there as well. I say use whatever resources are available to you when you're first starting out. The first client is the hardest client to get. Once you get one, your brain tells yourself that it's possible, and it makes it so much easier for you to repeat what you already did. So just get the first client. Focus on whatever resources are available, whether that's Upwork, whether that's a friend of a friend, or whatever that might be. Optimize your profile on those platforms. Make sure that it's inviting, make sure that it's completely filled out, make sure that it has examples of your work. And a pro tip that I have is to always include a little video. Just simply record a quick webcam video of you introducing yourself, saying, hey, I'm Latasha, I'm a social media manager. I love to work with chefs or the restaurant industry or whoever it is that you work for. Pop a couple of examples of your work up on screen. I know when I'm on the other side and I'm hiring people, anyone who includes a video or has a video on their profile always automatically moves to the top of my list because people buy from people, and people want to hire people that they can see themselves enjoying to work with. And if you come across as very professional and very nice, chances are you're going to move up in the ranks. Now, the other secret to job boards for me is filtering. If you just go to upwork.com and type in social media manager, you will probably be overwhelmed. But if you use the advanced filtering options, like filtering to intermediate level freelancers or filtering by budget so that you're not seeing any $10 projects and you're only seeing, $200 and above projects or something like that, that's gonna really help narrow down the playing field and present you with a lot more options that seem more fruitful. Now, of course, you probably don't wanna aim too high here though either. You probably won't want to filter for expert level projects if you don't even have an Upwork profile built up yet. I would recommend starting with a short-term, beginner or intermediate level project, even if that means it's a little bit under the rate that you would normally charge. If it's short term, meaning it's, hey, could you create 5 social posts for us? Or could you just audit our social media profile? Or could you have one consulting call? That is going to have a quick turnaround so they can give you a good review. And reviews are sort of like currency on these platforms. Good reviews lead to more clients. So get that good review and then apply for more jobs and just kind of up your rate with every single new client that you get. And if you do that and you complete the jobs and you do a good job and get good reviews, you should be at a place where you're making a decent amount or the target amount that you want to be making in just a little bit of time. Now, lastly, you can also make cold introductions. This is something that I did a lot of when I was first starting out, and I just started with a list of dream clients. Now, if you're not sure where to start about finding dream clients, well, one, if you're looking for a local strategy, a lot of the times you can look up best of business awards or best places to work type awards in your local area and see what some of the companies are that come up. Usually those are companies that have decent budgets and that might be good places to work. If you're like me and you like to work with startups and people in the tech industry, here's my little secret. I love this tool, I love this website, and I feel like people just don't talk about it a lot, but it's called AngelList. There is also another one called Crunchbase that I like to look up different startups, and it gives you some information on their funding levels, which is really helpful. It also gives you information on who their executive leadership is. And what I do with that, once I find who their executive leadership is I add them on LinkedIn. I say, hey, I just heard about your startup, blah, blah, blah. It looks really cool. I'm a social media manager in the area and I'm always keeping up with new startups. Would love to connect. Something simple like that. You don't need to go and send your Honeybook booking link for them. You don't need to send your portfolio through. Just make an introduction, play it cool. And if you have a LinkedIn content strategy where you're posting at least once in a while and your LinkedIn profile is filled out completely and is representative of your experience level and the jobs that you've done in the past, hopefully they'll check out your profile and click over to your website, follow that funnel, book a call with you, and so it goes. You absolutely can also send out an email pitch, and the best luck that I've had happened after a LinkedIn connection. If you add them on LinkedIn or even on Twitter, just depending on the company and where they're most active, they'll start to kind of develop that name recognition for you. So if you do send them a cold email later, they're more likely to actually open it if they've seen your name on LinkedIn or seen that you connected with them on Twitter or whatever the case may be. So I would recommend doing that. And lastly, another tool that'll help you out if you are sending cold emails is a tool called Vidyard. I actually did a whole video about them a while back. It's a really cool browser-based video capture tool. Really simple. It's just a browser extension that you use in Chrome, and you can record your screen or record your face and just do something very similar to what I recommended on Upwork. Give a personalized introduction, have kind of a virtual coffee meeting with them. And again, whenever somebody has sent me a cold email like this and truly put in the time and effort and given me a customized video message, I've pretty much always at the very least replied to them because I know that takes a lot of time and effort to put that together. Oh, and Vidyard is free, so I'll leave the link down in the description. Okay, so let me know if this series has been helpful so far. Leave me a thumbs up if it was and subscribe to the channel. I'll be adding to this series if you all liked it. If you did, be sure to leave me a comment and let me know what you'd like me to talk about next. But in the meantime, I'll be back with regular videos next Monday. I hope you enjoyed this one and I'll talk to you then. Bye.